Hey everyone, Hobbyist here, back at it again with another anime/manga review, and I've gotten through the first season of Demon Slayer, and I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of very good moments inside of Demon Slayer. If you ask me, Demon Slayer has probably some of the best animation that I've ever seen in a very long time. Like, all the fights, the breathing techniques, the way that the cameras shift and move, it's all gorgeous. There's plenty of gorgeous backgrounds that exist inside of Demon Slayer. And honestly, it's what makes it as good as it is. If you ask me, if I were to have the ideal people to, in theory, readapt Berserk, try to do Berserk the right way, honestly, I'd have the studios that did Demon Slayer be the ones to do Berserk. Because whenever it gets to the violence, obviously when it comes to shonen, they can't go as crazy as like what Berserk does, because Berserk is just a whole other beast within of itself. But if I were to have the right people do it, in fact, I would say that the demons and when Muzan executed his henchmen that were not the lower 12, though that honestly looked a little freaky with the way that the monster design were and the way that it was a mixture of CGI and hand drawn. It honestly looked really, really good. That I could just imagine an Eclipse version to where the monsters would come somewhere close to that level of quality. But now moving away from just the animation and the style, and let me get into the actual first season. So, what do I think of Tanjiro as the main character? I don't hate him, if I'm being 100% honest with you. The problem that I have with protagonists who lose their parents, again, probably has to do with the whole Berserk comparison, is the fact that we don't really get to know Tanjiro's parents. We don't really get to be attached to them to where when demons do eventually kill his family. I mean, not gonna lie, it's probably one of the more brutal deaths in shonen. It was a pretty visceral scene, and Nezuko being turned into a demon was pretty rough. But the whole message behind not every demon is evil, that's kind of where my peeve for this show kind of like dropped down a little bit. So the only character that I felt that had the justification kind of being a more sympathetic demon was the fake family demon. Um, Forgetting names right now, but he was the one who had the whole spider webs, who had everybody role playing as this family because he didn't have a family left. And as far as Muzan goes, I don't know. I can't really judge how good of a villain he is. We've barely seen him. Inosuke, again, when it comes to the side cast, I mean, they're characterized the way they are. I'm not immediately falling in love with Inosuke or Zenitsu yet. Meeting the Hashira was cool. I've seen plenty of the Hashira just in media in general and had no idea who they were. Maybe only the fire one was the only one that I had really seen in other media and just across the internet in general. But again, when I'm coming from a narrative point, as far as like the narrative of Demon Slayer and Tanjiro's whole goal of turning his sister back, I mean, it's cool, but again, for me, just not this is not comparing it to Berserk. I honestly would more so compare this to Full Metal Alchemist as far as trying to turn something back to what it was. Like, honestly, I think Full Metal Alchemist did that whole I will turn you back into this a lot better. Simply because of the fact that we got to see more of the struggle and the tension between the two brothers in regards to that episode where Alphonse questions Edward's drive towards changing him back, or if he had put him in this body on purpose because he gets gaslighted and doubts of seeds are planted inside of Alphonse's head to where the tension between the two brothers happens. And it's this really emotionally tense scene that they share. That there's this constant struggle between the two of them, but they're still pushing through with whatever they can. That despite the fact that the darkest Chimera episode that was inside of Full Metal Alchemist was a step in their journey of realizing that not everything in alchemy is beautiful, not everything in alchemy is useful, is that there are people who are very twisted and very dark in the ways that they approach things. And that was just kind of their whole journey, was just realizing that alchemy is not all it is made out to be, and yet they're still trying to go on this quest towards getting their bodies back. I always felt that that story was a little bit stronger. Whereas with Tanjiro becoming a demon slayer, trying to find Muzan, I mean, if you ask me, I don't think he would really needed to become a demon slayer. I mean, that's just what ended up happening. But I don't know. There's just something off with Tanjiro's story for me. At least just in this first season, to where it's not as compelling. I don't know. That's just my thought process as of right now. There's definitely plenty of Bleach influence. I mean, come on, it's literally a group of people who are fighting supernatural beings with swords and stuff. Whereas with Bleach, it's the same way with the Soul Reaper Society and how they're fighting their versions of demons over on that side. But at least with like Bankai and stuff, it looks pretty fire. Not to say that the breathing techniques inside of Demon Slayer aren't. I think that the colors and the way that they splash across the screen look absolutely gorgeous and stunning. When I'm talking about Demon Slayer from a narrative standpoint, it doesn't really stand out a whole lot to me. And its narrative choices, I feel, aren't as strong as like a Bleach or a Full Metal Alchemist. Honestly, that's just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I would love to hear all your guys' thoughts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, and to hit that notification bell. But otherwise, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.